Hello everyone, thanks for watching this video. So in this video today we are going to understand that how to connect the MongoDB in Spring Boot project or how to integrate the MongoDB in Spring Boot project. So in order to do the integration, first task is that we have to create the sample project, and for that we are using the starter.spring.io. okay, so here I have given this group id, artifact id as a MongoDB example, and followed by the project name, some description, and the packaging as a jar file, and I want Java 8. okay, followed with that I have selected the dependency as a Spring Web since I want to create the web project, and I have selected the dev tool for the compilation, and I need the Spring Data MongoDB to connect with the MongoDB. So these are all basically the same I have already downloaded and I have imported into the my Eclipse, and I have created the folder structure. So this is nothing but our main class, okay, and this is the constant related class. Currently we don't have any implementation for that. Followed with that we have the controller called imply controller, since I am going to do the operations for imply, and here I am going, this is the basically the model class. So what are the data or what are the field that we are going to create into the our MongoDB. Basically that is not a field, but it's a, you can say, JSON field for now. okay, and this is the request, and this is the response, and this is the service interface, and this is the DAO interface, and this is the service IMPL we are going to use, and this is the Swagger. For Swagger I have already kept the integration, and this is just because that we already covered the topic of Swagger. okay, means how to integrate the Swagger into the any Spring Boot project. So for that, if you want, you can refer the video number, I think this one, video number 11 of the microservice Spring Boot playlist. okay, and I haven't did any configuration, any business logic for now, and this is for TO, for transforming the object. And followed with that we have the application.properties file, and here basically server port is 8080. This is anyhow by default port, so just I have declared the 8080, and the name of this application I have created as a MongoDB example. So this is all about the application configuration. Now since I have installed my MongoDB locally, so that's the reason I have given the local host, and since MongoDB by default port is 27017, so I have given this port, and I want to create the database as a MongoDB. okay, and followed with that we will be having the logging example, logging configuration. So I want to enable only the info, okay, and the logging level is debug. So basically what I want to do is, so instead of this one I want to give my this project name, so com.api POTHI this one. So okay, so this is I am enabling as a debug, and I want to create the log file into the my C drive. File name is this one. If you want to understand more about the logging concept, so probably you need to see the video number. This is the profile, this is HL browser, Spring Boot log, this one, video number 10. okay, in this video we already understood, or I have already covered the all the different methodology to configure the logging through the this configuration or through the XML configuration also. okay, so basically our goal is to we will be having the employee ID, which is basically working as a primary key. okay, and the employee name, primary key we don't say in MongoDB, basically we can say ID. okay, and the employee name, and this is the employee salary, and this is the employee email. So basically we are going to save these 4 details into the our database, and for that we are going to perform the operations, like we are going to do the create and then get, means get the implied details, okay, and followed with that we are going to do the get by id and update and delete. So basically nothing but we are going to perform the CRUD operation, okay. So these are operation we are going to perform into the our application using Mongo database, okay, fine. So now coming to the project, so basically we will be starting from the controller. So here we will be having the clear picture what exactly or what are the operation basically we are going to do, okay. So since this is the controller, so we are going to do the @rest controller, okay. Now REST controller should have some operation. So for now public void create, and since this is for imply, create imply data. Looks fine, right? And for now I am returning only void, later we will change accordingly, okay. So this is for create, means post operation. Now I am going to do for get imply data, okay. Now get by id, okay. Now what we want to do, we created, we got the data, and now obviously update, okay, and after update we obviously need to delete the data, okay. So delete. So basically these are the operation we are going to perform: create, get all data, get implied details, get by id, means if we provide the one id we will get the respective details for that. Update means obviously for one id only, and delete for obviously one record only, okay. So that is fine. So for now we need to have the, this is our controller, so let's annotate at least. So create means @post mapping, okay, and post mapping, and obviously to create the data we are going to pass the, we are going to have the URI, okay. So create imply data, okay. Looks good now, and this is, I don't need to pass the any argument for now, okay, sorry. Now get so this is need get mapping, okay. So here create create employee, okay, looks fine, employee, okay. Get implied data, this is for get all, so I am good now. Get mapping, okay. So this I need basically get implied data by id, okay. Update means @put, okay. So here I am also going to pass the, okay, this one looks good. Instead of get, we are going to say update. Okay, and same here at the rate delete mapping. So here it will update delete. Okay, so this is just the template we have created. And one more thing, that obviously we need the service object, right? So in order to get the service, I am having the service IMPL. Okay, so what we are going to do is, this is the interface anyhow, so we are going to create the method. We will change accordingly, but for how we created here, in same way we are going to create. Okay, let's copy these are all. Okay, paste it here and then delete it. I will delete the data, that's all. So it will just for identification that this method is for service and that one is for controller. Okay, and other things are remain same. Okay, now this is the service and I want to implement the same into the my service IMPL. Since I have performed, I have to use this design pattern. Okay, since I have implemented, so I obviously need to override all the data. Okay, good. So basically our intention is to create this one just for overriding. Okay, so service, okay, and at the rate auto-wire. Okay, so for that Spring will initialize this service. Fine. Now what I will do is, this service needs to call. So create means create. Okay, same way, what is this one? Get means get imply. Okay, and this one is basically get by ID. Okay, and this one is that update. Okay, so here it go update, and this one is for delete. Okay, fine. So we have created the basic template here. Anyhow, we will change accordingly, that is not the big deal. Okay, now thing is that this controller will receive the data, and this method is all about talking the do one thing, let's have log also. Okay, so we will keep the logging. So here it go controller, and we need to pass this one here. Okay, so logger, okay, info. Okay, start. Okay, so basically this guy need the data to create. Create means we are going to insert the data into the database. So since we are going to insert the data into the database, so we need the data also. So in order to get the data, we need to pass here. Okay, so basically what we are going to pass, so for that we are going to pass the request body. Okay, so request body, Okay, we will be having the request object created here. Okay, so what is the request here? This is the request. So let's first prepare the request. So this is our basically goal. Okay, these are the data actually we are going to insert it, right? So employee id means int, employee name means string, okay, and employee salary means int, okay, string, and employee email means string, okay. So for that, so this is our request basically that we will receive. So in order to do, first we are going to source, getter and setter, okay, right click, source, to string we will be having somewhere, okay, and then let's create one constructor. Anyhow it don't need, but yeah, so constructor using field, okay, and then we need the no argument constructor also, okay. So for that we don't need, these are all data, okay, fine. So we got the request, so that is the request only we need here, okay, fine, and we have to import this one, fine. So somehow we are good, okay, but one more thing is that our first task would be to service model, okay. Our first task would be to have the model actually, since according to model only we are going to create the collection into the our MongoDB, okay. So this is the field, same as the field. Let's right click, source, setter and getter, okay, and right click, source, to string, and right click, source, constructor using field, and right click, I need the default constructor also. So this is done, this is going to delete, okay. So now this is, since this is the model, so basically here only we are going to inform MongoDB that you need to create the document and you need to have the ID with respect to our field, okay. So this is the important thing we are going to do. So since we are going to say that please create the document for me, so for that document, for that we will be having the document annotation, and inside the annotation we are going to say that please create the collection. So collection, and obviously we need the collection name, okay. So here I am going to say employee details, okay. So this collection it has to create. So while create the collection, it has to also consider that this ID, okay. So this employee ID is basically treated as a ID, okay. That's all. Generally we don't need constructor here, but later whenever we need we will use, but then let's delete, we don't need actually, we are not going to instantiate employee details class anyhow, okay. So fine. So what now, again coming to the controller, okay. So whatever the needed basis we are going to change it, okay. So fine. So we got the request. So as soon as we got the request, let's print the request here, okay. Okay, Now we printed the request and we are going to say if request does not equal to null. Basically what will happen is request is the object and inside the request we will be having the many field. Okay, so I am just now checking the object shouldn't be null, but what you can do is you can check the each and every field should not be null. Okay, so that is basically to do task. Here we need to check the null for each and each field. Okay, so this is basically your to do task, that's all. So if request is not null, then only please proceed, else just say that not info ERROR. Okay, say that request cannot be null, that's all. So this is just simple message. Okay, one more thing is that, okay, fine, now there is a chances that this guy will throw you the exception. Okay, so for safer cases we are going to write these are all into the try block. Okay, catch block we will see what we will do later. Okay, so now we are good from controller perspective what we can do here. Okay, let us see. So first thing is that we are going to pass the request here. Obviously we will get the compilation error. Okay, so what this is saying is change. Okay, let's change it. Now what this guy will tell, since you have changed me, so change my implementation class also. Okay, fine, I have changed it. Okay, so now coming to the controller, I have passed the request here and it is going to the my service. Okay, now service is responsible to perform the operations here. Okay, so in service what we are going to do, basically we are going to instantiate the DAO. Okay, but as of now we haven't wrote anything for DAO. Okay, so for now we need to go to the DAO. Anyhow, DAO is the interface, and basically what we will do is, since this is the MongoDB, so we are going to use the MongoDB repository. Okay, so since this is the repository, DAO, so first task is to make this the repository @repos repository. Okay, and then this guy need to extend ext extends. Basically if you see JPA, we can have the JPA also, but I don't know what is the interface name, probably. Okay, but here I want to use the, I think, Mongo repository. Okay, so in Mongo repository we are going to pass the model name. So what is our model name? Go to the here, this is our model name. Okay, so this model name I need to copy and here I need to pass. And what is our ID? Integer type. Okay, TG. Okay, import it. Done, that's all. So what will happen is, as soon as we created the interface DAO, that is interface, so as soon as we extend this one MongoDB repository, this is again the interface only. So all the inbuilt method which is available inside the MongoDB, there are n numbers of method, meaning that ready-made method which will help you to do your all the operations. Okay, but if you want to improvise, you can improvise with your custom method also, but there are enough numbers of method inside each and every repository, either it is Mongo or it is JPA or it will be our CRUD repository. Okay, so anyhow we are done with the DAO. So where we are, okay, service. So service need the data from DAO, right? DAO. So first we think is that we need to auto wire it, okay, and import it. Anyhow, there is no chances that null value will come here. The reason is I have already checked the null only. That's the reason I am getting inside. So there is no chances that null value will come, but chances that when we will perform the DAO operations, that time exception will occur. So that's the reason I am writing into the try catch block. Okay. So since I want to do the create operation, so here it go insert. So I am going to pass the request directly. So this won't accept actually. So what basically we are going to do is, so request, anyhow from request we are getting the data. So get imply id, okay, request dot get imply name, okay, request dot get imply salary, request dot get imply email. So these are the 4 data we are receiving from the request, and if you directly pass this request, it won't accept. The reason is in DAO, if you see, we have passed the employee details as the type, so it will only accept the employee details. Okay, so this is the value. Anyhow, what we will do is, so employee details dot, sorry, new employee details, okay, and here basically we are going to set the data into the, we are going to set the data as a employee type. So set employee id, okay, so id should go with id only. So here it's my id, okay, fine. So now if we will pass this employee object here, it will accept it, okay, fine. So anyhow data got inserted successfully. Okay, so what basically we are going to do is, anyhow data got inserted successfully, so user is only interested to know that is data got inserted successfully or not. Okay, so instead of, so this method, let's return the string type. Okay, so what we are going to say, we are going to create the string status message equal to this one. Okay, so if data got successfully created into the try block, then status message equal to data inserted successfully. That's all. Okay, and if the control coming into the else, catch block, so exception occurred while inserting the data. Okay, fine. So this message anyhow we are going to return. So here we are going to basically returning the message only. We are only interested to return the message. That's all. What is the problem here? Okay, problem is that this is the service. I told you, right? We will create accordingly. So string. Okay. Fine. So yeah. So this done now. Again coming to the controller, coming to the service. So I need some log also to be here. Okay, so let's copy this line, put here, and create the logger object, pass the class name here. okay, and logger. First method only will take some time, okay, otherwise after that we are going to just copy paste, okay. So what is happening is create imply, service request. So this is basically our service request. So request, okay. So here we are going to say start, and this is going to say end, okay. So service response. What is the response? Response is nothing but just we are returning the status message, okay. And now let's have one more log here, dot error, okay. So in error also, whatever the string we are printing it here as part of response, so we are going to print it here, that's all. Fine. So basically what we did is we received the request, we translated the request here, and the imply object we passed into the insert, okay. So if it got successfully inserted, means won't get any error, so we are going to say that a status message means data inserted successfully, okay. And if it is any problem, then it will come into the else condition. So status message value will be this message, okay, and at the rate we are returning it. Fine. So till now looks good. So okay, so now this guy is returning you the message, right? So what we are going to do is here also we are going to string response msg equal to this one, okay. So response message. So basically this guy is returning you the response, means it got created successfully or not. So we need to use this response, okay. So now coming to our project hierarchy here, so we have the response class here, okay. So in order to have the response string, so I need the data. So data would be I need as a imply to type, okay. So here I am going to have the reference of this one, okay, and just print it, okay. So now right click, source, setter and getter, and right click, source, constructor, this is the parameterized constructor, now default constructor, okay, and obviously I need the toString method. So source toString, okay. So this I need the response as a data also, okay. So message means if any error or anything it is coming, so that we will set it here. Success means if it is success, then we are going to set the true, else false, and if we need to set any data, so data we will set it here, okay. So now this is my response ready. So what I will do is now basically I need to controller is our endpoint, right? Okay, this is controller only. So here I am going to create the response equal to new, okay. So I have created the response instance, okay. So this response, in this response I need to set the data. First message, what message? The message what we are receiving it from, the message what we are receiving after successful creation. Okay, so this message when I got response dot set success means true, means obviously in try block it will be success only, and I don't have any data here, so I'm not going to set it the data. Okay, same in catch block also we are going to set it, but instead of true we are going to say false. Okay, good. Now after doing everything, instead of void, as I already told you, we will change as per needed basis. So we are going to return the response instance. Okay, and since it's returning the response, so at the end I am returning the response only. Okay, so let's have some log here. This is the start and here is the response. So response means controller response. Service response is different, controller response is different. Okay, so here I am going to print the response here. Okay, and logger is here, that is also perfectly fine, and whatever the try catch will come, that automatically it will take it. Okay, so one more thing what I will do is possibly no, let it be, I don't want to insert any data here. Okay, now let's run, at least we will see if create is working or not. So on top of that we will do the update and delete. If you see application failed to start, so this is because of why imply service IMPL cannot be found. What is the problem with this one? Okay, since this is the service, okay, so that might be the problem. So let's run again, right click, run as Java application. So MongoDB application started. Okay, so this log is just coming because of I have given this log here. Okay, just for our understanding, and it is running on 8080. So I think I have already hit the Swagger. So Swagger is already configured, so that is the reason. If you see here, we will be having the list of all the method that we have created. So here is the create, delete, get by ID and update. Anyhow we don't have the implementation for these are all, but for now we will be having the create, right? So let's try if create is working. So imply email. Okay, so if I will click the try it out, if everything went success, then I should be getting the response. So hoping the same. Wow, so data inserted successfully, that is perfectly fine. 2 means anyhow we don't have the data, means creation doesn't return anything, and success is true. Now let's check into the our MongoDB, whether student DB it has to be created. See here. Okay, sometimes it won't come. See student DB. Okay, so inside the student DB, if you see implied details, and if you see here we have inserted the first record which got inserted successfully. Okay, now meaning that our create is working. Okay, so we are good now, means we are almost done with the all the configuration related thing, right? Now it's just that we have to perform the operations. Okay, so now again we have to go to the controller. Okay, now our almost done. Now get the data, meaning that we have to get the all data, right? So what, same, now from now everything is copy paste only, right? So let's copy this 3 thing. Okay, paste it here. Okay, and same try catch, but okay, we don't have the request here, so that is not an issue. So while getting the data, it is possibilities there that we will get the exception. Okay, so that's the reason we are keeping it this into the our try block. Okay, let's change the log here. Okay, so this is the get imply. Good. Now go to the implementation. Okay, anyhow we will change this one accordingly. Let's first have the log. Okay, so with the help of DAO, okay, sorry, we don't have data here. Get imply. Okay, now with the help of DAO will help you. It has all the ready-made method. Okay, so let's see. For get the data means something like find all. Okay, this will only help you to get the data. Okay, find all don't need anything. Okay, so this will actually get you all the data which is available into the database. So this is not respective to the ID, so basically we don't have to worry this one. Okay, so now since this is returning you all the data means list of data. Okay, so for that all employ imply details. So we have to store somewhere, right? So here we have to create the data. So since this is the list, we directly cannot return this list. So what we will do is we will translate this one. So in order to do the translation, we have to iterate this one. Okay, so here we are going to iterate this details. Okay, and then what we will do is we will translate this one to our two object. What do you mean by two object? So here is my two object. Okay, two object doesn't have any data for now, that is fine. Equal to to equal to array list. Fine. Now we have to go to this class and we have to copy paste some details. Okay, so this is the details anyhow, but here we don't have the anything called ID. Okay, so this is just for our translation. So right click source getter and setter here, right click source to string, and then right click source constructor, and obviously I need the default constructor also. Okay, fine. Now coming to the here, so we got this one. So what we will do is, so we will get the data from here, whatever dot get ID. Okay, dot get name dot get email dot get salary. That anyhow we are getting from the database, and that's the list I have created. So instead of to list of, okay, that is list of is fine, equal to to equal to new. Fine, now it's good. So what I will do is, so again the problem what it will come is I have to create this instance here. Okay, and then with the help of this to set imply ID. Okay, and this has to get it here. Okay, now as soon as we loaded the data, so we need to add the object into the array list. so add and to object. Okay, now since we added, so instead of returning the void, we are going to return the list. Okay, and then obviously we are going to change the, okay, so this guy is giving you the service interface. Go to the service interface, get, right? So instead of the here, it will have the to object. Okay, so fine. So okay, so we have to return the list what we have created here. Okay, so anyhow we don't have request here, so that we don't need this log, but obviously we need, before return we are going to print the response. So service response. Okay, so this will give you the get all the data. Now again come to the controller. So what this guy is giving you, this guy is basically giving you the response as a this one, list of data. Okay, so let's capture this one, all emp data. Okay, so we have the response ready, anyhow we are not worry about that. So in response we are going to first set the message. We don't have message here, so we will create it, that is different thing. Dot set success, obviously true means we are in try block, and dot set imply to, but this guy is going to give you the error since we have to set the imply object. Okay, that is perfectly fine. So what basically it is telling you is, so list, so we are going to have the list of data. Okay, so that is the reason we are getting this error. So anyhow we are going to delete these all. Now right click source, first we are going to do the constructor, right click source, generate setter and getter, right click source to string. Okay, now everything is fine. Now coming to the controller, we are setting the data whatever we are receiving. Message we are going to custom is get list of imply data, that's all. Okay, and same response we are going to set it into our catch block, but catch block only come when we are getting to, when we will be having the exception. So in order to have the exception we don't have the data, so for here we are going to set the false. Okay, and the message is exception occurred during getting the data. Okay, now this guy is also returning the response only, so we are going to return the response. So done. Okay, so let's have, anyhow we don't have request here, so let's delete this one. Fine, copy this log, paste it here, print the response inside the log. Okay, controller response. Okay, Now let me see one thing, if is there any problem with error. So what we are doing is, so we have to write this one in try catch block. Okay, so in try catch block we have to, anyhow this will go there, since at the time of fetching there are chances that we will get the exception, meaning that some exception. So that's the reason, for safer cases we are going to have the try catch block. Okay, anyhow in catch block we don't have to do anything, but what I will do is I will just spawn some error. Okay, so where is the error? Okay, same error we are going to keep it here. We are not interested to do any. So exception occur while getting the data from DB, since in service we are directly getting the data from database, and controller we are fetching the data from service. So that's the reason this law. So response message, anyhow it doesn't work here, so let it be, directly I have set it. So fine. Now same get by ID. So instead of get by ID, so okay, so this guy has to give you the ID. Okay, so for ID we need to receive the ID here. Okay, so in order to receive the ID, first we will have the path parameter there. Okay, so in path parameter, I mean path variable, so at the rate path variable. Okay, int ID. Okay, so that is fine. So what we will do is, at least we will do some sample. Saying that if ID does not equal to 0, meaning that ID is anyhow integer type. So for integer default value is 0 if they want sent also, right? So if you check ID won't be null, that won't work here anyhow. Okay, so that is the reason I have set it here. So if ID is not 0, then probably you need to proceed with the service. Else what you do is, else anyhow let's have the log here. Okay, fine. So start details request, anyhow request nothing much, we are going to have the ID. Okay, but this log I am going to print it here. The reason is chances that ID will be null. Okay, so perfectly fine. Later we will see what we are going to do into the else block. Okay, so for now we are going to first into the service. In service what we are going to do, first let's have some log here. So change the method name. Okay, but this should throw some error. I don't know why it is not. Okay, I need to pass the ID, then only it will throw the error. Okay, so this guy need to receive the ID, int ID, but obviously this will throw the error since I have the interface. So here I have to change it. Okay, again we will come here when we will see the what we are going to return it. Okay, so fine. And here it is. And okay, so now again let's pick the DAO. So DAO, what is giving you to find dot, that was the find all, right? But this need find by ID. Okay, So anyhow we have to pass this id. So when we are going to pass this id, basically it will give you the complete collection. Complete collections means it will going to give you the list again. Okay, so we have to create the list also same way. So how basically we are going to create? So data by id. Okay, so let's create the local variable. So here it is creating as a optional type. This is another java.util okay class. So what first we will do is, again we have the list created here, right? We have already created the list, so same we are going to use here anyway, and this class also, Pojo class, I mean to class. Okay, now since this is the list, so get by id. Get by id means you will give id as a 1. Okay, so you will get the one complete record, but inside that you will have something. So anyhow we need not to iterate this one. That is the one thing is done, we are not going to iterate it. But from product, obviously, I mean from this one, obviously we need to receive the data. So how we are going to receive? So it has the method called get method. So inside the get method we will be having the get id. Okay, so like that dot, and the same data we need to set it into the our to object. Okay, so here it go, to dot set id. Okay, so let's cut this one and put it here. Okay, now in this list, anyhow we are going to return the list. However, list contain only one object. So in this list, one record, we are going to add the data. And what is the add? We are going to add the to. Okay, so and the same thing we are going to return it. Okay, so again if you will return, you must be getting the error. Okay, so first thing is that we have to fix this one. Go to the service interface, and instead of void we are going to put this one. Okay, so now come here, what is the error we are getting it? Okay, this will tell you to return, add the return statement. So here we have added the return statement. Okay, now service response. So here we are going to response is our nothing but this one is our response. Okay, but one more thing is that anyhow add find, right? So this guy is basically going to give you the exception. Anyhow we are going to cover this one in try and catch block. So if you need this one, so let's have try catch block. Okay, so in try block we are getting these are all data. Fine, perfectly fine. Fine, catch block we don't have to do anything. So let's copy this one, put it here. Exception occur while getting the data by id from db. That's all, and that list we are returning it. Okay, so let's copy this one, go to the controller. So this guy is returning you the data by id. Okay, now anyhow we have the response object created somewhere. Okay, so response object we are going to create it here. Okay, and in that response we are going to set the message dot set success set list. Okay, so message means we are going to say data by given id. Okay, id if you want you can print it, but let it be. Okay, and set success means true, and data is this one. Fine, so looks good. Now if the same something happen in catch block, I mean if id is not 0. Okay, one more thing is that if id is not 0, that is the different thing, but here you should be having the try catch block. Okay, so these are all. Now get it into the try block. Okay, catch block, what we are going to show, we delete this one. Okay, we don't need this one, and exception occurred during data by given id. Fine, but you will get one more exception here, else. So for that also we need, okay, true, no, false. Okay, and for that also I need to return the response. So here message very clear that id should not be null. Okay, id should not be null. So that is fine. Now somehow we are able to manage the response, and this guy is also going to return you the response only. Okay, and accordingly we have to add the return statement. Okay, so where is the response? The global variable, we set it here, and set it here. Okay, first response we have set it for the try, means success. Catch block, if any problem come, then we have again set it the false, and if id is null or id is 0, then we have set it this one, exception occurred during data no, id shouldn't be null, will come here. Okay, and this will go in catch block. Okay, fine. Now update means we need to have two things. First thing is that for which we are going to update, so for that we will be having the id. Okay, so that is the first thing, id. Okay, so to receive the id we will be having the path variable. Okay, first thing done, but we also need to have the data here. So data we will be having as a create. What is, where is the create response body? Okay, so update and create. Okay, so basically it needs to have the id and create it. So basically here I need to, first what I will do is if and then else. I am doing very little minimum validation, but you can check more also. Okay, so if id does not equal to 0 and request does not equal to null. Null means it's object, but here one to do here is same, this to do also you also need to follow. You have to check the all the request data. Okay, all the request data shouldn't be null. Okay, for now I am only considering the this one. Okay, so here it should go end. Okay, and the response I need to print it here. controller response. Fine. Now let me have the log here. So here we are going to pass the log. Okay, so this is for update method anyhow. Okay, and for now I don't need this one, later we will change it. Okay, so here request is two things: id, request means id, and request. Okay, so first we are printing id and second we are printing the request. Okay, so request, what is coming? So condition is that id shouldn't be 0 and request shouldn't be null. It is perfectly fine. So then what we will do is we are going to call the method. So in order to call the method, what I will do is in request dot set id, here only I will set the id. Okay, I will not allow this id to go directly in my service. Okay, and this request I will pass it into my service. Obviously it will give you the error. Okay, so in order to remove this error, so we need to add the argument. Okay, so first argument should go here and then obviously in interface area. So here it go interface. Okay, so when you will update, anyhow we are going to return the string only, means updated successfully, that's all. Okay, so I have changed the return type also, and accordingly we need to change the here return type. Okay, so perfectly fine. Now let's add return something. Okay, now we are going to do the update. Okay, and we will be having the request. Okay, so first check the DAO. What is the method we will be having for update? So we have the count, find, insert, I don't need save. Save is nothing but your update only. Okay, so they are giving you this method as a save. So if you pass this one, hopefully it won't go. The reason is same, we have to do the translation. Okay, same translation what we have did it here, where this request shouldn't went, right? So what we will do is imply details, same copy paste code we are going to write it here, and the implied data we are going to get it from here. Okay, fine, and the same imply we are going to pass it here, model object. Okay, but the problem is anyhow we have checked the null, that is a different thing, but anyhow while updating we might face the exception, right? So let's put all the code into the try block. If you put out of try block also, this instance won't make any problem for you. Okay, so yeah, data got saved here. Okay, so if got saved, then we don't have to do anything. What we will do is string message equal to saying that msg equal to data updated successfully for id. Let's print the id. Okay, fine, I need to get the id from request, that's all. That I will change into my controller. Okay, now same error. Catch block means error block. So exception occurred during update. Okay, and the same message we are going to return it here. So for update, no problem. What we did is we received the request, we translated the request, and we did the save. Okay, so since we are in try block, if it went successfully, then data got updated successfully. If the control will come into the catch block, then some error will come. Not interested to understand which error came, and I return the string type. Okay, so now again coming to the controller, so this guy is returning you string msg equal to, okay, update message. Fine. Now let's have the response object created here. So copy this response object, keep it here. Okay, and in this response, so again we have the if else condition. Let's have one try block also. Okay, so this code I am going to keep into the try block. Okay, and now this is the catch block, that is different thing. So in response, if everything is fine, then I am going to set message equal to update message, whatever it is returning. Okay, and then set success equal to true, and obviously I don't have any data, so I'm not going to set the data. Okay, fine. Okay, fine. Now in exception block we are going to, okay, we don't have to set here. What we will do is we will create the global variable here, and we will delete this one here. So if this guy is returning the success message, it got setted here. If this guy is returning failure message, it got setted here, and false. Okay, now else condition is here. Okay, so in else condition, what we will do is in update message we are going to say id or and request cannot be null. Probably what you can do, just for good looks, you can have one constant here. I have already created the constant, but I haven't used till now, but you can create one constant for message and all those things. Okay, so this will make your code looks good. So fine, so anyhow we are going to return the response here. Okay, so here this is returning the response, and accordingly we are going to add the return statement. Fine. Now this is delete, and delete, what this need is, it don't need any data, it just need the id. For this id, please delete the data. Okay, so here is the id I am going to pass, and id. Okay, again let's have a small validation here. If id does not equal to 0, then only go inside, otherwise. Okay, let's see here, response, we need to print the response here. Okay, now id fine, let's have some log and copy the log inside the if block. Chances that if id is 0, then it will print the 0 only. I am not interested to print the 0. Okay, so here is your id, and if id is not 0, then only please do the delete operation. Okay, else we will see what we can do. Okay, so but for now I need to pass the id here. So in order to pass the id, obviously it will give you the error. Okay, it is happening. Go to the here, delete int id. Okay, so here also let's change. So what will happen when the data got deleted successfully, then I will return the success, else some other message. Okay, so fine string. Okay, now I need to add the return statement. Okay, somewhere I have not kept the null, right? Okay, fine, no null. Okay, this is the chance. Okay, fine. So id I got. Now I have to delete the data. Delete won't make you much problem, so it just, but still we have to put the try catch block. Okay, inside the try, see, okay, delete by id. Okay, so this will delete it, but here so msg equal to data got deleted successfully. Okay, and then in catch block, exception occurred while deleting the data. Okay, so basically we are going to return the message only, that's all. Fine. So if successful deletion, we will be getting this message. If failure deletion, we will be getting this message. Now coming to the message, so string, okay, not here, let's create it here. String status msg equal to, okay, so status message, anyhow this delete is returning you the status message. Okay, so it got captured here, but let's have the response object. Okay, now response we have to, okay, again, so this is the try catch block. Okay, fine. So in response, if everything is fine in try block, then we are going to set the message equal to this one, whatever we are returning. Okay, the set success equal to true. We don't have the data, so we won't set it. Okay, now same, but only thing is that false. Okay, and else condition also is returning the same, but message I am going to write it here. What the message? id cannot be null. id cannot be null. Fine, and this guy is also returning you the response. Okay, so let's return it. Okay, perfectly fine. So now come to the here, close all the file I don't like, let's clean it at least, since we did many code changes. Now right click, run as Java application. Started successfully. Now clean the console and just refresh our URL. Okay. Now let's create some more data. Okay, but before that, get all, we will try it. Since we have only one data for now, the data is coming or not. So it is coming. Okay, so what we will do is we will create some more data. Okay, so 2000. Okay, now try it out. Data inserted successfully. Now get all the data. Now we should be having the 2 data. Okay, so try it out. So we will be having 1 data and we will be having the 2 data. Fine. Now what we will do is we will test get by id. So first we will pass id as a 1. Okay, so it has to give me the API POTHI. Fine. Now I will pass id as a 2. So it has to give me this id. Okay, now update data. Update means, so for id I will be having the 2, and for employee email I don't want to update, I want to use the same email. So copy here, paste it here. Okay, employee id is obviously 2. Okay, employee name Prakash, and employee salary is 3000. Okay, earlier it was I think 2000, right? Now I have given 3000. Now let's update, try it out. So data updated successfully, success is true. 2 null means we are not returning any data. Now go to the get all. From here only we will get all the data. So where is the get all? This is the get by id, not interested. Now get by all, I think this one is the all data. Let's try it out. So here see Prakash and 3000 got updated. Okay, last operation is delete. Okay, just where is the delete? Okay, so delete is this one. Okay, now delete the data for id 2. So data got deleted successfully. Okay, so if you go for now get all. Okay, let us see if data got deleted successfully or not. See, 2 got deleted. So basically we are able to perform all the operation correctly. However, we need to do some basic validation. So that that is our business thing, but our main goal is to how to connect our Spring Boot in our database called MongoDB. So just for summary, only 2 things you have to remember. First thing is that as per your the database configuration, you have to pass the database here. Okay, this is specific to the MongoDB, and another specific MongoDB is that you need to annotate your entity class. This is entity class with the @ document, and since this is the MongoDB is the NoSQL database, it basically work on collections. So we need to pass the collections name, and then followed with that we will be having the DAO. Inside the DAO we will be having, we have to choose the repository. I have choose the Mongo repository since I want to use the Mongo repository specific to my MongoDB, but you are feel free to choose anyone. Okay, and this is your repository annotation. That's all, very specific to MongoDB, and other are all related to your RESTful web services. Okay, RESTful web services I already covered in detail in video number 11, and one more places I have covered. Okay, somewhere 1 2 3 4, this one, 5th number. Here I have already explained the RESTful. 5th number also explained RESTful, and 11th number also explained RESTful. Now this video is also going to RESTful and MongoDB both. Okay, yeah. Thanks for watching this video.